It's out of our control. It's not like he wants to kill. He just doesn't want to die. You know what I'm saying? It's that situation when we are living in a war zone. I feel like I can represent my generation so much because I honestly did not care whether I lived or died. But now, I cannot die. I can't leave until this straight. You know, I'm not suicidal. I can't go until y'all really know what time it is. And then after that, boom, it's all over. And we can see, how this fall. But that's how it is. And the reason being is because if I can't live free, if I can't live with the same respect as the next man, I don't want to be here. Because God has cursed me to see what life should be like.
I said we ain't no loafers, we ain't no poachers, we ain't no haters of self, we ain't no vultures. This ain't our culture. I said this ain't our culture. I said we ain't no loafers, we ain't no poachers, we ain't no haters of self, we ain't no vultures. This ain't our culture.
I said this ain't our culture. I said the do. That's just me doing my sound check right there, and I see I'm good to go with my ones and twos. So top of the top, happy Malcolm Sunday to y'all. You know, they what's today, the holiday with the rabbit and stuff. You know what I mean? That's it. Top of the top to y'all. Well, welcome to another episode of Make a Culture Move with the G's Read podcast, where G's read. And I'm your G today, King Philip. All right, and let me go ahead and bust out this disclaimer. I know we get out here and we are supposed to know what the fuck to do, you know what I mean, as adults and stuff like that, and even as kids somewhat, when in reality we is like, what the fuck is going on really? I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I got it all figured out, because I won't and I don't. All right, in my humble opinion, that is a part of the glory, not having it figured out, because when you do figure it out, it's so glorious. It's so glorious when you do figure it out. So, I'm saying all this to say that, with the G's Read podcast, we're putting tools together for growth seekers. All right, because these tools that we're putting in with this book, How to Fight by Thict, Naht, Hahn, these are tools, whether you want to use them, it's going to benefit you. Whether you don't want to use them, move the fuck along. You know what I mean? Don't move the fuck around. You know what I mean? Because we just looking for those growth seekers looking to grow. All right. I'm putting together a little journal. You know what I mean? Where I'm getting ready to do a little small mass production of them. Where, it's going to be my writing too. It's going to be my writing. All right. Well, I'm going to have the table of contents in the journal. You know what I mean? So y'all can also, I don't like the affirmations thing, but, just something that you can keep in, you can write down your little notes. You can tap in on how it's, your personal journey as well, your personal connection to these Nantimbits. And the thing is, I call them Nantimbits because I really don't have a name for them. These little reads that we do, so that's why I call them Nantimbits. But, this journal right here, you know what I mean? It's dope because I get to put in my thoughts. I get to read. I get to see the drawing, and boom, you know what I mean? So I'm getting ready to put these together. But said all that to say, let's jump into our reading. We still in this How to Fight by Thict, Naht, Hahn. You know what I mean? My man Thick. I told y'all we call him Thick where I'm from. You understand it? We call him homie Thick. You understand it? All right. Somebody gonna have to tell me if I'm pronouncing this name right. My man Thict, Naht, Hahn. All right. Let me go ahead and pull up what we on today. All right, so today's read. And just to give y'all a little bit more history on Thict, Naht, Hahn, again, when I picked up one of the books, it was one of those that made me stop reading what I was reading turn back to see who the author was. Like, oh shit, he said something right there. Let me look this up real fast. You know, Thict Nhat Hanh, he's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. You know, and like I say, the three words that I can think of that encompass his whole being, in my opinion, is peace, compassion, and mindfulness. In all of his reads, I believe so far that I've read, he's mentioned in all of the Nintimbits, he's mentioned peace, mindfulness, or compassion in all of the reads. All right. So today, this is our third session. This is our third read. You know, the first one we had jumped into opening the door, you know, where he was just basically talking about opening the door to conversations, you know, more than this internet shit, the social media, this kind of interaction. You know, he is talking about opening the door to more personal interactions. All right. Yesterday, the one after that was called Where the Fight Begins. And that was looking at, you know, where any situation that starts, usually it's us, our reaction that pushes that even further. That pushes it even further. So, and that was one thing that I ain't stopped. That was my reflection on yesterday. So today, this session is called A Pause. This session is called A Pause. And read this for y'all real fast. Suppose someone just says something unpleasant to you. Their words and the sound of their voice give you an unpleasant feeling. You believe they're trying to make you suffer. Of course, you feel the desire to react, to say something back. You feel that if you can express your anger, if you can make them suffer, you will get relief. Most of us react in that way, but mindfulness can help us pause for a moment and become aware of the anger building up in us. Stopping gives us a chance to acknowledge and to transform our anger. When we feel anger, irritation, or indignation arising in us, we pause. We stop and come back to our breathing straight away. We do not say or do anything when we are inhabited by this kind of energy, so we don't escalate the conflict. We wait until we're calm again. Being able to pause is the greatest gift. It gives us the opportunity to bring more love and compassion into the world rather than more anger and suffering. Take a peek at that image, at that visual, if you can too, for a minute, because that just said a whole lot. This Nintimbit, you know what I mean? That's what I told you. I'm gonna call them Nintimbits. This Nintimbit said a whole lot. But before I jump into the Nintimbit, let's just look at the picture for a minute. You know, I see my guy. I see the young fella. He's just looking out into the fields, into the mountains. You got the clouds, you got the trees, you got the grass. It looked like it could be blowing. You know what I mean? The wind could be blowing, but it's so serene. It's peaceful. You know, just to be able to look over and not have to worry about the world in a sense. You know, we see the world in this picture without the distractions that life gives us, that the world gives us. And that is so serene, that is so peaceful. You know, so coming into the picture, coming into the Nintimbit, you know, my three takeaways, of course, when someone do speak something unpleasant to you, again, as a culture, as myself still specifically, we have to watch how we react when we feel or we get disrespected. We must watch how we react when we get and feel disrespected. And I know our initial reaction is always to boom. You know, that's always our initial reaction, is to jump back in there. You know, swinging, whatever the case may be, however we want to do it. That is always our initial reaction. When just taking that time to pause, you know, to breathe, that was the second thing that came out to me, was the importance of stopping. Some of us can't stop. Some of us, once we get into that area, into that space, into that energy just flows and they can't stop. I'm saying that, but listening to myself say it sounds silly as shit, because we do have that power. We do have that choice. So when they use that as an excuse for, you know, I blacked out, or I didn't know what I was doing, or I was so angry, we need to stop. And get that breath back in us. And get that breath back in us. We need to stop. You know, he say stopping gives us a chance to acknowledge and to transform that anger. Just like in where the fight begun, just in the Nantin bit yesterday, it was saying we do have that power to change, you know, our thinking, to change the way we feel, to change the way we act, to change our brain. We do have that power. And in order for that power to manifest, we must first pause. If we are, or if we do feel anger, frustration, irritation, indignation, anything building up, take a moment to pause. And that's fine. You know, that moment can be a minute. That moment can be 5 seconds. That moment can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you need, just to get your breathing, just to get that energy shifted and out the fuck. You know what I mean? Take that time. You know, there's no time limit on you breathing, you composing yourself, you making sure that you are on your square. You know, there's no time limit on the pause that you should take. All right. You know, and the thing is too, again, looking at my own personal life, my own connection, you know, even now to this day, I'm barely, you know, again, this is me at 37. I'm now starting to pause. I'm now starting to collect my breath if I'm in a space that I don't want to be in. At 37, you know, mind you, at I'm all throughout my 20s, you know what I mean? Early 20s, I got locked up at 23, got out at 27. All through, you know, my early 20s, I was quick to anger. I was quick to, you know, we ain't thinking, if a nigga disrespecting me, I'm in his face with my fist down his throat type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, no talking, no words need to be exchanged after the disrespect. That was all that needed to be exchanged, was the disrespect. But again, that was me, Philip, at 23. Philip at 37 is now more aware of his words, is now more aware of his breath, is now more mindful of my attitude and my anger. Not only my anger, just any kind of emotion that I'm putting out there, I am more cognizant of it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, tapped into us today, man. You know what I mean? That's how we're gonna do it today. You know what I mean? We're gonna end it on the breath. We're gonna end it on being aware of where you are in the present. You know what I mean? Always be aware of what's escalating anger, what's escalating frustration, what's escalating anything that's bringing you outside of your norm. All right, so boom, you tapped into another episode. You know what I mean? The G's Read. I'm your G King Phillip. You know what I mean? And that's all we got for today, man. You know what I mean? It's that if every Malcolm member was just like me, what would this world be? Stay tuned for our next G's Read. All right, peace.